What's good, people? It's Dan with the Corporate Thief Beats. You're watching another beat making showcase. Today I'm going to be making something a little bit different, and that's in a beat that's similar to 21 Savage's beat Bank Account. Now, this is one of the biggest tracks that 21 Savage has, and it's a pretty simple beat that Bank Account beat. It's got a little guitar riff in it and a little kind of trap kind of drum in the background. And I like the vibe in it, but it's very basic. And I tried to see if I could come up with my own version of that, use my influence from that track, and see if I could incorporate guitar into like a trap little melody kind of track. And this is what I came up with. It's called Piggy Bank, and just kind of playing on the bank account kind of theme. And I originally created the guitar riff on my guitar, but I didn't really like the sound of my acoustic recorded with just my microphone. I just wasn't getting this kind of sound. It just sounded noisy and a bit too dirty. So I tried to recreate it with MIDI in my within Logic. And this is what I came up with. Now I'll just play the verse and I'll play the intro and the verse and a bit of the hook. It's all kind of repetitive. It's not very complicated, but there is some nice elements in here with the 808 and the way I flipped my own guitar sample as well. So here's the track. It's called Piggy Bank. I'm going to pause it there. You get the idea of what the track is like. It's nothing too complicated. To me, it's a bit of an album filler, but I do like the elements. It's not a bad track just to have on in the background. You know what I mean? It's not going to be my favorite beat of all the beats that I've created, but I do think it's something that I can leave on. Like a lot of the time, a lot of beats that I create, I just chuck them away. I just start again until there's some kind of hook in it, and that beat has a little bit of a hook in it, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the guitar lick, maybe it's the way the drums fight with the guitar being reversed, etc. So we will just first try and decipher what I did for the intro. So this is two guitars. Like I said before, this little riff was created on my guitar. I kind of played around with the guitar, nothing crazy, but I figured out a little riff, and then I tried to emulate it on the guitar with MIDI. It's very quantized here, but just to make it fit with the drums, I kind of move stuff around. You will notice with the guitar here, the bass note is kind of being played over and over again. And this is something I do with my finger picking, and a lot of guitarists do. They usually play on their own, so they usually use the top string or the second string as a bass note to play off of with the rest of the notes. And that's what I'm doing in this. So if you're not familiar with the guitar, this is the riff. Okay, and then there's a reason why I play double the guitar up. I put in some harmonics there as well. And this is just kind of a little production trick to make the to layer the guitar, but also make it kind of pop within the mix as well. Because the finger picking sounds are really nice and clean, and the harmonics just give it, it's like adding distortion to a bass to kind of enhance the bass. It's just a small little production technique, that's all, nothing crazy. Okay, and we'll just listen to them together and see what they sound like together. And you can hear that the harmonics are just adding a fraction of, they're actually adding a little bit more space in the mix, plus they're adding a little bit more emphasis on the picking of the guitar as well. Okay, and I just want to show you this little section here as well, because this verse section is the same guitar riff, only reversed. That's all I did. It's just I bounced down the audio within place in Logic, and then I reversed the way the guitar has been played. That's all. It's the same thing. Plus, I did chop these two sections here to make them loop and make it like one solid loop, 1 8-bar loop. And that's very simple. Just to show you how to do that, basically you just go into functions and hit reverse on your sample audio. But make sure you know where your start and your end point of the guitar riff is, just to make it sure that you're going to hit it dead on the loop and it won't interfere with the next section. And this seems to be a common thing within hip hop at the moment. It seems like all the Bryson Tiller beats are doing this. A lot of people are flipping their own samples because there's a bunch of copyright issues and stuff like that with YouTube, and it's kind of getting harder and harder to promote anything that's sampled. Not that I have anything against sampling, it's kind of the basis of hip hop, and I'm fine with it, but I don't want my YouTube channel to get screwed, and that's why or any of my other social network sites, because I have no real good avenue to promote it except actually on my own website. But that's why a lot of people are actually reversing their own samples as well. It's just it gives another element, plus it makes it sound like a new instrument as well. I just wanted to show you that. I know that's kind of skipping into the verse, but it just helps me explain it a bit better. These two sounds down here are pad sounds called Moon Glitters. It's in ES2, it's in Logic. And we'll just take a look at the EQ. You can see I've heavily EQ'd it, and I've cut a lot at 3K or around that. And just make sure it cuts in the mix. The vowel pad is in Alchemy. Again, I cut anything below 200. There's no need of low end on these pads because the 808 is going to dominate that low end section, and plus the kick is in there as well. Both of these synths are just playing 2 notes. That's all. Well, it's actually just 1 note and 1 note higher. And the reason why is this is it kind of floats in and out of the mix just to add dimension and let the rapper know that he's going into the hook as well. That's really it. Or to add a variation within the mix. Okay, they're pretty bland sounds, but they do take up a nice section within the mix. This is the melody of the track, all right? And this kind of floats in different sections, and it doesn't interfere with the guitar. It's kind of a glassy bell. I really like it. It's called Cavernous Dream. It's in Sculpture in Logic. And you can see that I've rolled at anything below 500 hertz and boosted a little bit of 5 and 10K. And we'll just take a listen to that on its own. And the next note actually plays the first note, so it sounds better here. 1 second now, we'll just play this little section. And it sounds better there actually in that section than actually on its own on the start. But you don't notice it that much. It's just kind of adding a little bit of ear candy here and there. Next section is in the verse. We'll just play a little bit of the verses. Okay, I'll pause that. So you've already heard the reversed guitar. We'll just take a look at the MIDI for the kick. So it's standard kick drum. Used it in Ultra Beat. 1 second now. And I've busted out for some sidechain, or not sidechain, I always say sidechain compression. I busted out for some parallel compression, and you know the way I usually do that. I really put a lot of compression on the kick, the drums, and the bass, because I think they're the ones that really need the fatness and to really kind of push up in the mix. All the kind of lighter sounds like the guitars and stuff like that, I don't really want to be heavily compressing them because they can get squashed. Some people like putting that on. I don't really compress them that much. I do my best with my EQ and I get it to fit in the mix. Plus I've been very careful about what sounds I actually put into the track, because 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a crappy sound that's going to ruin your mix. And I'll try, that's why it takes me longer than most people to make beats, is because I'm actually searching for good sounds first, or sounds that I know are going to fit well, are not causing me hassle to mix later on. So here's the kick, and you can see there's huge gaps in it, but you'll see why in a minute when the 808 comes in. Okay, it's pretty standard, nothing really to it there. The snare comes in now, and there's a big reverby snare coming in. See the difference that reverb makes? And you can see that I've tinkered with my snare as well. I boosted a little bit at 315, cut a little bit at 930, and boosted at 3100 hertz, just to get a little bit of snappiness to my snare sound. Plus there's 2 snare sounds in that mix as well. Plus I've layered 2 snares within that. So there's 2 different sounds. They're not playing on their own there in a minute. We'll just move on for that because it's going to take too long. Next is my hi-hats. 9 crazy there. Bit dull, bit boring, but they play off these hi-hats here. So I have 2 different hi-hats. And 1 second now. So 1 second, I'll play this song now. And they're like open hi-hats. I should have labeled them a bit better. So they're open hi-hats and they play against these hi-hats. So we'll just listen to all this together. Just the drums on its own, no 808s, no sounds. Okay, And it's starting to get some rhythm now. It's starting to take shape. The hi-hats, even though when they're all on their own, they sound a bit bland, a bit boring. But when you really put them all together, they sound like, yeah, now we're getting a solid structure to build a beat on. And there's a little bit of a tricks that I do with the 808, and you can see it already, it's already open for me, is the pitch bend. And there's a special reason why I do the pitch bend here. Now, I think this changes in 2 different sections, so I might have to, yeah, might have to. No, it's the same in both sections. Yeah, my mistake. So we'll just listen to it. It plays, it's following the kick, but it's also going down on certain sections and coming up on another one, and then it's kind of moving up and down in different sections as well. Okay, and just to show you where I get the pitch bend, you can see it there. Usually this is always on volume or velocity, and I just change it to pitch bend just to get to do some kind of within internal MIDI automation with my 808 kick. The kick is also got some overdrive on there as well, and that's the 808. Cut anything below 200 hertz, and you see there's little pockets there for my kick not to get interfered with. We'll just see now all these sounds together. No sounds, no main instrumentation, just the kicks and drums. Okay, still sounds a bit boring, but the guitar is going to fill it with life in a minute, plus all my additional sounds come in and out, and as well as that I take out hats here and there just to add small variations. A lot of these beats are not very complicated, these kind of 21 Savage type beats, because they want to be the focal point in the song. We'll just listen to what it sounds like. Brought the original guitar without the reverse in there. That's like the main hook of the song then, or it could be that could be the hook, and then that could be the outro of the chorus. It depends on what the rapper actually wants to rap over. Once the chorus is over, I take out the bass and just let the drums run there for a few minutes. Then I took out my kick drum and my snare, and then I took out my hats. So I'm just kind of adding small variations over in different sections. Like in this, after the chorus this time, I just left the instrumentation run. Because that little kind of guitar riff sounds very repetitive, that's why I do those little variations with the drums. But I do think it still is a hook in the song, so it is given a nice flavor, but it's hard not to be repetitive with trap beats. So the only way you can do it is just kind of pulling in and taking out stuff, just like what EDM music does anyway. Like a lot of the time with EDM music, it's got the 4 on the floor, and then just pull in different bits and different, pull the drums out, let the instrumentation, and then build up. And there's no real difference with the trap music as well, except it's a little bit more defined with the intro, verse, chorus. A lot of the time with the EDM, you don't really know where you're going with it. And that's really the end of the beat. That's just probably one of the most simple beats that I've ever created, but it does have a good hook to it. This is Dan with the Corporate Thief Beats. Anything that I haven't mentioned, please leave a comment in the video, or if you feel that it's helped you, give it a thumbs up. Plus, there's always a corresponding blog post on my site where I give out some free resources. Plus, I'll let you know about any kind of drums or any kind of tools that I use to produce this beat. This is Dan. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll chat to you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye.